thank you for joining. You're just on time now as well. Very punctual.
There you go.
Fantastic. Well, I've been looking forward to this actually. I've had a bit of a busy day at work, so it's nice to wind down and chill, hopefully.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
first question I always ask everyone, sort of an
Oh,
unofficial question, is what's the weather been like where you are? Typical British question. So,
classic.
mm,
Yeah. Hang on. Let me just turn off my dining room light. There we go. Yeah, it's been pretty warm and sweaty. So I've been filming a YouTube video, so been getting very warm. But then it did rain about 45 minutes ago.
yeah,
So
mixed,
yeah,
typical British weather, hey?
yeah,
So,
classic British weather. Yeah.
absolutely. Right. So, obviously, you're a video. Is it a videographer the right term? A cameraman videographer?
Yeah, it's kind of both. Yeah.
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 So,
Yeah.
so, so what got you started in that kind of thing? What was the beginning point of it?
It was. It's funny because um, I was at school and I did media studies, and actually I was with Caddy in media studies, which is obviously we'll get onto that later on.
Yeah,
And I chose media studies for an A level just because it sounded fun.
yeah,
So I kind of went into A level. I finished GCSEs, didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I just sort of I chose business because I knew no matter what I did, it was going to involve business. And then chose geography. It was like a double business, geography and media studies.
mm,
And basically the coursework for the media studies was just it was like create a short like trailer for like a teen movie. It was like the first year, or was that the second year? Anyway, either way, basically it was just to create these videos. And so basically I'd go to school and it was like having fun with my mates making a video, and I was like, you can this is fun, like you could get paid for doing this. Like, so that sort of started it really. And then it was that mixed with just sort of filming stupid videos with Caddy and all that kind of stuff, and sort of that sort of made me realize you could make a career out of doing things with cameras, I suppose. So but it was never YouTube was never like a thing for like, especially like because this is like we're 11 12 years ago now, so like
yeah. It was in its infancy back then, YouTube, wasn't it? It was still
yeah.
finding its feet. Well, has it ever found its feet, YouTube? That's just sort of a struggle, doesn't it?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, this is yeah.
absolutely. All right, so I'm sort of, most of my, I used to, when I was a kid, I used to do like Lego movies with like proper cameras. Let's say proper. I don't mean like negatively. I mean like the old tape cameras. So I like inherited my
Right,
granddad's
right, right,
camera.
yeah.
So it was like filming with tape and stuff like that. So I've kind of like hobbyist. I've never done anything professionally or anything like that.
Mm.
But what I did do during lockdown, I did some guitar cover videos, and I thought I was really proud of myself because I got I think it was I can't remember the name of the camera, but it was a Panasonic Digicam, basically HD Digicam, and I like started messing around with the ISO and all the shutter speed and stuff like that, and then managed to get it to look quite good, a not so good camera with with what I had, and of course then I bought a DSLR, and it just completely blew my mind. So do you think there's value
Yeah.
in getting a good picture out of not so good equipment? Is that a benefit to being a camera person, do you think? Or is equipment king?
Well, equipment's definitely not king. I
Right.
think learning the basics like you did is crucial because that transfers across all cameras.
Mm,
So like figuring all that out, it doesn't really matter what you figure it out on. Um, I mean, it can aid better equipment can aid, but fundamentally you need to have the skills to know how to use that equipment, and most cameras operate in the same way. So
yeah.
yeah.
So I suppose that what's the main important things then? Just the knowing all the shutter speed stuff and all that kind of stuff, ISO and
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the main. Yeah, it's just sort of learning exactly what those do and how they affect the image and how they can help you create the image you're trying to get the camera to do, that sort of thing.
Okay. So on a similar note, so I think you're saying on the website that you've got experience with multiple cameras. So um you also talk about there's like a list of like loads of different lenses, and for a layman, is that if you go like on a job like get a job from someone, do you ever go through all of them, or is it something like some of them are specialists and you only use them every now and then, or
Well, so what I do is kind of like well, I guess there's three prongs to what I do. So I class YouTube as one. The other two are me as a videographer. Like I create everything. So I deal with the client, and I also edit and shoot, and I give them the final video.
Yep.
And then there's also where I just get booked as a camera operator for someone else. And so I just show up and there'll be a camera there for me to use, or my camera will get hired with me and I show up to a job basically. But then I don't deal with the editing or the client in terms of relations sort of thing, only on the day.
Yeah.
So with the stuff that's listed on my website, that's all my kit that so if someone books me as the videographer to do everything, that's the stuff I use. So depending on what that job is will depend on what stuff will get used on that list, basically. But then also if I get booked without my camera, I'll be using whatever camera the company that's booked me has provided, basically.
Which one do you prefer doing? Do you prefer your own kit, or do you like the challenge of working something new out?
Well, if it's using my own kit, it's good because I get paid more money because I'm hiring my kit. So that's nice. But yeah, I suppose it's nice. It's nice using other cameras because it means I don't get isolated knowing only my stuff. And so having that broader range actually makes me more desirable to other companies because I've used other cameras in the past. So, but I like both really.
Yeah, fair enough. So it keeps you on your toes, I suppose.
Yeah.
So you mentioned quite a diverse bunch of different types of, I guess, jobs you've had. Is there like a something things you don't do? I mean, like for example, like think outside the box. Say like would you do like a band setup for a band or like multi-cam? Would you do something like that, or take you've never been asked?
Yeah, I'd probably prefer to do a music video. One of the companies I work for do like live streaming of events and things, and so like they would do like multicam stuff, so I would usually be an operator of one camera.
Yeah.
I've done multicam stuff where like I'll set up cameras and just leave them as a wide shot, and then I will cut them together afterwards, which isn't like, I wouldn't say it's the ideal, because ideally you'd want to have an operator on each one because then it can offer you loads of different shots. So I haven't done it where it's been my client and I've pulled people in to be able to create that, but I have done jobs where it's been like multiple cameras just on a wide, and then like chop and change.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. But would it be stuff you'd be open to doing then? Is it something you'd like to grow into, like sort of maybe having your own occasional crew to do things like that potentially? Or
well, I mean, just through being freelance, like I know other freelancers, so I would probably just call those guys in, to be honest, as I'm already friends with them and already know.
Fair enough. Oh, interesting.
So yeah.
Is any job too small?
There is nowadays, yeah, because I'm just fed up of working for no money.
Totally.
And so like I will say no to things just because it's just, I've gone through enough of trying to work for not much to get experience and all this stuff. Like it's just not worth my time anymore. Unless it's for friends and family. Like recently I've been fully tied in with doing friends and family weddings and I do not do weddings. So like, yeah, that's been like a mega favor that I've done for, I did my sister's first, and then my cousin really liked what I did for my sister, and I was like, oh, great, now I've got to do this. And then my girlfriend signed me up for one of her friends recently, and like, so that's the third one I've done. I'm like, I don't want to do weddings, but so, like, yeah.
Curse of being good at what you do, I guess. I suppose is that.
I guess so, yeah.
All right, so moving on, obviously, I suppose to the YouTube stuff. So filming in cars, because I'm intrigued by this. So because I had friends from years ago were into like track days and stuff like that. So I've noticed a few of the videos you've done. Obviously, you've got like there was the one that was the 1,000 horsepower video where you've got like the camera on the dashboard looking at you, which is great. I watched that one earlier, and I love the point in the video where you just like smile. No, it's pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. But like the camera's really still. So like, and obviously to me, like thinking about, I've never actually thought about personally filming in a car. But how do you manage to get that to happen? Like,
so that is actually that's just a GoPro mounted to the windscreen, and then the newer GoPros have got such great image stabilization in them now that you just turn that on and it actually does it all for you. That's why
Oh,
you can see
really?
that camera kind of like sways like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
It's because it's just keeping it stable and steady. And then so I think the difference between what most people do with GoPro stuff is they'll just press record on the GoPro and then they'll use the audio from the GoPro as well.
Yeah.
And that really annoys me because it's not that good. So I've got mics that I then will sync the
Yeah.
audio afterwards so that you can hear people talking properly.
Yeah,
And
so that
I think
was the
that
next
makes a big
question.
difference.
Yeah, definitely, because like in that video, obviously you comment on how loud the exhaust is, and obviously you can hear how loud the exhaust is, but you can you can still hear you like pretty. I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking loudly, and you can. It's a struggle because obviously there's a lot of noise. But how does that work
Yeah.
then? Or is it like is that like a secret trick you've got?
So it's actually, so I've got a mic. Well, it's actually the same mic I've
Right,
got on now, actually,
right,
I'm talking to. So I clip these on whoever's talking, and then in Final Cut Pro, which is the editing software I use, there's actually recently they've added this really cool feature called voice isolation, which literally just kills
okay,
everything else out the background apart from the talking voice. And that is literally a tick box that has just changed how the videos turn out. Like I was already using these sort of mics before. I've only recently got these ones, but got another my more professional lav mic that I was using before. And so I always had that audio quality, but I never had it like isolated in this way where it
yeah,
almost sounds voiceover-y
yeah,
in terms of cleanness.
yeah. I
So
was
that's a
impressed with
big
that
one.
because I saw the I think it's your most recent videos, the one where you do the wheels, with the
Yeah.
yeah, and you're like in the distance and there's no ambient noise from outside, and it's like, okay, it's quite. How does he do that? Obviously, it's the microphone, so worth investing in, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
wow, that's the crazy thing though, is like all this stuff is coming down in price.
Mm,
So like before, so like for example, the lav mic that I've got is like Sennheiser and this, and then like professionally, like that is, well, actually even professionally, that's sort of more entry level, and that was £500. Whereas now, like with what I've got on now, so it's one of these like DJI mics, and it comes in this case,
right.
and so you get like the receiver and two mics in it, and that whole thing. Well, I'm plugged into my Mac. I'm also, you can use it on the cameras. You can plug it straight into a phone. Like the
Oh,
versatility
okay,
of this is crazy. And this is like 320 quid for two mics. And so
really
like for
good.
YouTube, yeah, for YouTube, like people just don't notice the difference. And like these have been absolutely like a game changer for me making YouTube stuff because it's so much easier because these can like record internally and all this stuff. So like there's so many things that these are really good for as well. But like the price of entry is like coming right down for stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I suppose it's because everyone's been doing more online stuff during lockdown. I guess maybe I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know.
Well, yeah,
Or
I think just companies realize that video is king,
yeah,
and um, it's just all this interesting new technology that's coming out that is just bringing the price down because more and more people are making videos nowadays than they were. It's not the barrier to entry is so much lower because
yeah.
everyone's got a camera on their phone now.
So on sound as well, because there's another video I watched which I really actually enjoyed watching, the POV video you did, and the sound on that's quite interesting because it you can hear everything. Because obviously
Yeah.
normally if you like I've watched footage of dash cameras before, and it's not very good, but like you can literally like it's like you're sitting in the engine bay in a way. That probably sounds a bit
So
weird,
that's
but
what I'm trying. That's good that
yeah,
you've said that because that's what I'm trying to do.
cool.
So what with that, I've mixed three mics together to be able
Mm,
to create that. So I basically stick a wired like lav mic like in the engine bay. So like I clip it to so it's under the bonnet, and then I
right,
run the
okay,
cable into the cabin. So that gets the engine sound and all the induction sound. I've then got a GoPro on the back of the car that you never see in the video, but that's recording like the exterior exhaust
yeah, okay,
sound,
yeah,
like the high end of the exhaust. And then I stick a like a boom mic in the boot, and that gets the low end of the exhaust. And then I like clap to sync them all, and then I basically match them all up. So then you get all three in one. And that's, yeah. And then I like kill the audio that I've recorded from the GoPro, so you never hear that. And that's how I do it.
no, that it does sound really cool. When I was watching it, I thought it's like I'm in the car. Obviously, not
Yeah,
quite,
which is
but it
the
was like,
plan.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the idea from that. And like that was what I was trying to do to like just keep that type of video that I make like a level above like what
Yeah,
other people do when they do a point of view drive. So
totally. I mean, like, actually, the next question would be on because I don't know, I've not seen all your videos, but I don't know if you've done any I don't know what the position, like the behind your head camera stuff, like because I've seen stuff online where people will do like they'll do like track days, and both of them will have a camera in the car, and they'll sort of show it from both positions and stuff like that. Is that something you'd be up to? Would be moving into potentially?
well, so I've recently got another car that I'm going to be doing track stuff with at some point. But I don't know really because it's really I've never because I haven't done any track content yet. I don't know what my plan is for that yet.
Yeah,
Especially with like the logistics of having two cameras
yeah,
rolling in two separate cars is challenging, which is also why like I haven't done any sort of comparison between my two main cars because I don't know
yeah.
how to actually physically film it whilst also driving one of the cars.
Mm,
So it's one to figure out, but I mean, it would be cool. I think it would be easier if I'm with someone else who's also knows about making videos, sort
yeah.
of. Yeah, it's logistically quite a challenge. So having someone there that knows a bit about what's going on would be useful.
Cool, all right.
Yeah, I'm not writing it off though.
No, 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 totally not, because I'm sure that'd be a good laugh as well, wouldn't it? Like,
Yeah,
but I mean,
exactly.
it's interesting because I've got a strange relationship with cars because I'm an engineer by trade. So
Right.
like when I was like working hands on at my job, it put me off wanting to work on cars in the evening. So
Oh,
I
right.
fell into the sort of the not a trap because it's nice to I fell into like the the lease car thing. So I can't modify my own car or anything like that. Part of me's happy about that because I don't because the money doesn't get drained. But so it's actually great seeing this kind of content because it's like I can feel I can sort of enjoy it without having to sort of do it myself. Which is that the
Or
angle you're
spend
going
all the
for?
money.
Yeah, well, yeah, suppose, yeah. Is that the angle you're going
So
for? Inclusive sort of angle, or
so what I've been told by people that aren't into cars that have seen my videos is that they're easy to watch and
yeah,
understand. And that is like the highest praise because that is sort of the idea. Like I want it to be as inclusive as possible,
yeah,
but also for the people that are properly into cars like I am. I want it to seem like we're on the same level sort of
yeah,
thing. So I'm trying. It's like obviously like a wave. You've got to try and balance where you don't go too nerdy or anything. But I try and make it like so if it's like a how-to video or like an install video, I do try and make it as idiot-proof as possible
yeah,
by giving as many options as possible. But also, usually, either I am the first one making a video about that thing, or the videos that I've watched have missed certain things out. So, like, for example, like I'll list everything, like every part you'll need. Like, let's say you need an O-ring for something.
yeah,
Instead of me just going, oh yeah, you need this O-ring, I'll link below
yeah.
like and I'll pull everything. So like basically my video becomes like the one-stop place you can go about that thing. And
That,
I think my audience values that quite a lot
that
because yeah.
that's an engineer's dream. That because that's talking as an engineer because you want everything methodically just written in front of you because obviously you want to enjoy the video and then have a cheat sheet afterwards to work out if you want to do it
Yeah.
yourself. So yeah, definitely that's cool. I like that personally anyway. So yeah, fall into that argument. Okay, so I suppose we better talk about Caddicarus work as well because I know you've been a
Yeah.
long time part of it. So first question I'd have, and I've watched, as I said to you before, I watched since 2013, which is a long time ago now.
That's a long
So,
time.
so do you remember the first video you were in or part of?
I don't remember the first one I was in, but like the first one I was part of, like we've been doing stuff
Yeah.
pre-YouTube, like it's like crazy the amount of stuff we did or like that we did that got uploaded and then has now been like hidden and all this like yeah it goes back all the way to the I'm pretty sure that the first thing I ever did with a camera was with Caddy
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
where we would yeah like it was either like we were making like stop motion Lego videos on his Nokia phone or
Wow.
um even before that we did on it was like oh, what was it was a phone. I can't remember what the phone was, but it would only. I think we mentioned it in the Blu-ray thing, but it was something, it was some such low resolution you could only record for like 15 seconds, and that's what we did like the first Percy Parrot videos on, which is like a character who's just fully binned
Yeah,
off. But
I remember
that
him.
was like, yeah, even yeah, that was even before like the stop motion stuff. So it's crazy. Like I'm pretty sure that it's been since the beginning pretty
Yeah,
much. So,
I know.
and we also, I think we created our channels around the same
Okay,
time, which is pretty funny.
I know that because I mean I did because most of the videos he does are really long, so it's difficult to sort of like watch them. I've got a few I really like, so I like the one he does the Halloween music one he does, where he's like walking away. I don't know if you were part of that one. Long time ago. I think that might have been 2013 actually.
Yeah,
But
I remember that one.
the one I'm pretty sure you're part of because he mentions at the end is the Christmas one, the Santa Claus one, where like because there's a bit he says at the end of the video, when he goes on the long spiel for about 5 minutes or whatever it feels like, where he talks about you're in like a play park or something, and he's singing a song from Muppets Christmas Carol, and he mentions that like there's some kids or something nearby like laughing. And it's like it doesn't matter because we were just like I don't know if you remember that at all or you're part of that one. He mentions that he thanks you specifically at the end of the video, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't know,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe he
yeah.
was
So
filming it.
like, yeah, with the amount of stupid
Yeah,
stuff that we've got into over the years, like it's just hilarious. It's like it's got to the point where it's just like, well, we're just doing it anyway. It doesn't really
yeah,
matter. So, which I think the peak of that so far has been the when we did the Jesus video,
yeah.
like the Jesus Games video,
Mm.
just running around his city with a Jesus costume on, like the amount of just hilarious looks and just like because when you like I think the thing that gets lost by most of the audience when they watch the videos is they just see it as a skit and they're just like, oh, that was funny.
Yeah,
But when you actually think like the logistics behind getting those shots, it
yeah.
makes it even funnier because it's just the ridiculousness of standing on the top of a parking structure as dressed as Jesus, standing over the top of it and like screaming down to the floor. Like just when you think about it, just for me, it just adds another level of
No,
hilarity to it.
definitely. I can see that. I mean, it's interesting as well because I think I think you mentioned in the Jesus one because that's my favorite one. I've watched it like 5 times because it's just brilliant. Honestly, it's excellent. And there's a quick scene where he does the duck walk with the that and apparently from what he says, it's like it was like let's get it done quickly and get in the car quickly. But
Yeah,
it's like a focal point of the video. It's like I mean I remember when that first bit came on, I was just like I had to pause the video and to rewind. I've got to watch that again. That's hilarious because it's that sort of thing. He's got that kind of memeable cutaway stuff.
yeah,
So the thing is those yeah, it's interesting to think that like you know those segments take like 3 or 4 seconds. It's like let's get in it. Shit, let's get back in the car to avoid someone.
yeah, yeah,
Have you ever actually got in trouble for anything, or have you managed to avoid skinny your
yeah.
teeth?
I don't think there's nothing that comes to mind where we've actually been like,
Collared.
yeah, told not to. Because usually, like people like, well, obviously we get weird looks all the time, and so like, so Caddy's just like, oh, it's fine. I just make YouTube videos for a living. It's like literally all he says to people, and people just go, okay, as if that gives enough context. Like, um, yeah. So I don't think there's been some time. No, I can't think of anything where we've actually been told to stop. But like, but then there's also stuff where it's like we'll ask for forgiveness rather than permission if
Yeah.
we get stopped. So like like when we're in the church, that cathedral scene, like we fully just walked in like we're just gonna have to like pretend we're taking photos of stuff and all this kind of thing, and like that, yeah, just some of those scenes are just so risky when you like watch it in the video. You're like, how did we get away with that? But it's just because they didn't know we were doing it. Which just for me just because what's brilliant for me is like most of the time when it's a video with gameplay,
Yeah.
I don't know anything. So when I go over to shoot it, I'm there for like 4 to 5 days. I don't know the gameplay stuff. So when it's
Oh,
all
okay.
edited together, I don't get the jokes until the video
Right.
because I don't understand what he's talking about. Or I'll piece stuff together by the end because I don't get sent like a script or
No.
anything. I literally sometimes I don't even know the title of the video before I get
Oh,
there. So
okay.
I'll just be like, so I'll be like, what do we need? and he'll be like, okay, we need this bit of equipment, this da da da. But like I go into it completely blind. So the only time I've actually pieced a video together was the Crash Bandicoot merchandise stuff, because there's no gameplay.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
filmed all of that video. So like I actually could like, I'll be like, oh, this shot's going to link to this now because of talking about that earlier. And like, so yeah, when he's talking about games, like I don't get that.
Yeah, okay.
But that also just, it's cool for me as well, because I get like two layers to it. Like I'll
Yeah.
be there to film it and have all of those cool things, but then I don't, yeah, seeing it all put together, like it's like I get to see it for the first time, how in his head he's always seen it.
Yeah. No, that's good. So you take it then. I mean, I suppose he comes up with everything before you do them. There's no like, oh, that's there, let's do it. There's nothing like that. It's all like he's already got ideas of what he wants to do.
So the videos are always like fully scripted out, like
Right.
page by page. It the only there's sometimes that will happen where either something will happen that's not supposed to, but then he's like, oh, actually that's funnier.
Right. Okay.
Or there's been times where we've maybe been filming something and he's like, oh, this is a good idea, but then he'll just save that idea for another video in the
Yeah.
future, because he's just got like a list of like all these ideas he's got, and so that will just go into that bank. But
Okay.
we sometimes, yeah, where we're like, oh, this, or like I'll suggest a different way we could do it, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, that would be funnier." Because like because literally every single shot he'll be like, "Okay, so the next shot is this, and I'm doing this." So that's when I'm like, "Okay, so do you want me down at this angle? Or do you want it up like this?" And like, so that's
Yeah.
when we like figure it all out. And like, just because that's how we've always done it, it actually is quick because I pretty much know exactly what he's after now.
Yeah. Read his mind.
But yeah, but then I'm also there to like offer like, oh, maybe if we did it like this could be
Yeah.
funnier, or just make it a bit more cinematic or something. So
I suppose that would be in the Jesus video with the sunset bit with the light where he jumps over the
yeah,
wall. Yeah. That looks
yeah,
really, really cool. I mean that shot. I suppose the drone shot would be an interesting question as well. I mean, how did you manage to pull that off? Because that looks like proper, like you would in the film world.
yeah.
It's brilliant. So it's like you look at that and you're like, oh my god, like he's running down the middle of a main road. What's going on? Like, how hard was that? Was that just quite easy? I would know. I've never shot with a
It's
drone.
not. Yeah, no, it wasn't too bad. That it's that road where that we shot that we use that area loads in the videos.
Okay.
Like, yeah, multiple different stuff gets shot there. Because we know it's like relatively quiet apart from
Yeah.
dog walkers and stuff. So hence why we get funny looks and things when they do walk past. But that wasn't too bad. But that whole sequence, yeah, it took us like a good couple of hours just for that, what, like 5 seconds it is in the video or whatever.
Worth it.
Yeah,
Totally worth it.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. I'm a Patreon follower of Caddies, and
Nice.
I think it was just before lockdown or just as it started. The video he did then of the PlayStation magazines. So my claim to fame is I sent him the picture of the early Crash Bandicoot one, so the one that talks about them being apples, and Bonus Bob. So if you look in that video, everything else he's got is a magazine he owns, but that one's like a JPEG. So that's my claim to fame. So
Nice.
yeah. So there we go. So that was my it was genuinely, it was a really nice moment, that, because it was like lockdown. Things were awful, and it was like, well, I'm part of something. And I remember really looking forward to the video coming out, and I'm like, oh, there is. It's really cool. So
yeah.
I'm chuffed with it. So
yeah, because obviously, like it being lockdown, I wasn't involved in those ones either. So it was actually not. How did it work out? Because basically, there was a quite a few years of hiatus where I wasn't involved, just because I was doing my professional videography work, and Caddy was churning like 3 videos a week, and it was like, I don't even know how he was doing that.
I don't know how he managed it.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. And so like, and then he then moved from being 5 minutes down the road to being 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
So like, the only way it was ever going to work again was the way it has happened, where he's just doing these mega videos. So yeah, that it's cool because I just stay at his for like 4 days, and realistically, like, we're just doing what we've always done since we were like 12. So like, it's just mad that we can get paid for it now.
It's totally brilliant. But
Yeah.
Are you going to his live show in London? Because
That is the plan. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm going to do a little vlog of that, I
cool.
think.
Because I'll be there for that. I'm gonna
Oh, nice.
yeah, I've got a ticket for that. I grabbed it as soon as it became available, so probably meet you then.
Amazing.
But
Yeah, so I haven't heard too much more from it since it was all a launch,
yeah,
really. So I need to find out exactly what the plan is and what he's doing and
yeah,
try and figure out. But yeah, I'll be floating around with the camera, grabbing some stuff of the whole thing. So
brilliant. Okay, so we're getting close to time, unfortunately, because you've been a good lad to talk to. The last question is, would you like to plug anything specifically?
that's a good question. It's interesting because people on YouTube either know me from the car stuff or from Caddy's videos, and there's very few people that know that I do both. So I guess, yeah, if you don't know already, I film all the Caddy's videos. Go check out those. We always have a laugh making those videos. And if you are interested in any car content or the occasional vlog with Caddy when we do some sort of mad trip or whatever, then check out my YouTube channel as well. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok as well if you want to. I I don't know really. That's sort of all the places I've got going on. I'm launching a little brand soon and all that kind of stuff. So I've got a few things bubbling away that will start popping up a bit. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll that's probably the best place to keep up to date with everything. So that's just Solly Ross, just Olly Ross with an S at the beginning. Same on Twitter, pretty much the same on TikTok. And then yeah, just my channel name is just Olly Ross. So super easy to find if you are interested in anything else, really.
Brilliant. Well, excellent. Thank you very much for your time. I'm sure I'll speak again. Take care.
No worries. Cheers.
Ta-ra. Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.